Hi, everyone. This presentation today is part of the Learning Planet's global initiative, which together with CRI, the Centre de Recherche Interdisciplinaire, promotes collaborative and sustainable learning to address the challenges of today's time. It's based on the premises that learning should not only focus on individual development, but also on collective well-being and building a more equitable and sustainable future. Learning Planet organizes events such as the World Education Day. It creates spaces where educators, learners, scientists, and social actors can collaborate to design new forms of learning adapted to the needs of the 21st century. Therefore, we at the Logosophical Foundation are very proud to contribute with this initiative. Now, I am Flávio Niemeyer Guimarães. I'm 54 years old. Married for 25 years with my wife, 3 kids. I'm a founding partner of a technology service company, and I have been collaborating as a volunteer and also as a researcher at the Logosophical Foundation for over 30 years. So that activity today, uploaded here, it's about the great questions of your life. I need to do a disclaimer here. I don't have the pretension to answer all the great questions of your life, but the idea is to have some time to reflect about them. What are my questions? What are these great questions of life? And also to present the tools and concepts and knowledges that Logosophy offers to go after the answers by oneself in a place that we usually don't look into, that is within ourselves. We're going to start with a quick presentation about the Logosophical Foundation. So Logosophical Foundation was created in 1930 by the Argentinian thinker and educator González Pecote. So it started in Argentina, and today we find it in several countries, in North America, Latin America, Europe, Israel, and Australia. It's a non-profit organization. In several countries, it's recognized as a public service organization. It's private-owned, founded by its fellow members. And there is no political nor religious liaisons of any kind. There are many organizations around the world that seek to bring a better world to humankind. The Logosophical Foundation goes the other way around. It seeks to provide better human beings to the world, because there we understand that a better world will be formed by individuals, better individuals. So that's the idea. And that's because of this, there are not only the Logosophical Foundations, but also the Logosophical schools, where the kids learn from pre-K up to the 12th grade concepts that will help them to face the challenges of life. Under the Logosophical pedagogy, they start to learn how to build values, how to put together knowledge that will help them all over their lives. So, and to structure this activity today, what I did, so I asked several different groups of friends, what are their great questions about life? So I connected with my junior high friends, my high school friends, college, my bike ride club friends, and my friends here in Texas where I live. And I asked them, what I did, I created a Google Forms in order the responses to be anonymous. And then I received all of them. And what I was able to do was to group the answers in 3 main topics. So the first one was balance. How to balance my life with several activities during the day. How to manage all my different lives in a good way, not put me under stress. Second one about purpose. what is the purpose of my life? What am I doing here? What is my purpose with my family, my work, my friends? So even to the world. And where do I go afterwards? So why should I live here in this planet? And the third topic, more related to transcendent points, like the metaphysical world, the spiritual nature, the good and evil, love, and even about the creation, if there is a first cause, if there is a creator, if there is or not. So these are also some of my questions, some of our inquietudes, as we say in Logosophy. So the type of questions that make us unrest and push us to go after the answer. So hopefully these are also some of your questions in order to have a very productive activity today. Yeah. And since the first topic is about balance, so balance is a very important principle of Logosophy, because Logosophy seeks to bring balance between what we know from our external world and what we know about our inner world. So we understand that there is something we need to do about this. And what I have done, so I'm on the technology business, so I needed to be updated about all the new technologies. And there is a very interesting article in the MIT Technology Review magazine every February, where they list the most innovative technologies that will impact our lives in the next years. So in February 2024, so these were the technologies listed by the magazine. So AI, solar cells, mixed reality devices, weight loss drugs, geothermal systems, gene editing treatments, exascale computers, and so on. No doubt, these are technologies that are really great to our lives and also bring a lot of benefits, to us. But which of these technologies will help me to deal with my son when he borrows my cars, go to high school and lose my keys? Or when we are late to an appointment and my wife decided that she knows more than Google Maps and Waze. When I face the terrible traffic jams here in the highways in Texas. Or even when Brazil keep losing the World Cup in the quarterfinals. So these technologies are great and bring a lot of benefits, but little has changed about human nature in this past, I would say, centuries. And an example of this is what we have today when we see the war. So we are facing two wars currently, and there is all this political polarization in most of the Western countries. So this is recognized by a lot of people. So there is a good book that I read about 20 years ago from the historian Australian Geoffrey Blaney. His book is A Short History of the World. A very nice book, very well written. And in the end of the book, in the conclusion, Mr. Blaney says that none of these profound changes alter human will, human unrest, human desire for freedom and conformity. Many triumphs of science and technology were superficial. It was easier in this era of mass production in the countryside and in the city to satisfy the stomach than the mind. It was easier to master the disease than to master human behavior and put an end to war and conflicts. So what can we do in order to change this reality? And what we learned that in order to change this reality, we need to address the causes. And the causes are, say, if not always, most of the time inside us. So what Logosophy offers is a framework. I am an engineer, so I like to see this as kind of a framework, a toolbox of concepts, of knowledge, and to get let us know more about our resources in order to know our psychological and spiritual nature. And not only that, but also the mental and metaphysical worlds that surround us and impact directly our lives. When you start to look inside, it's like another universe. So it's not only this intelligence that we have with this capability, it's mental faculties, like observing, reflect, reasoning, or our sensitivity with its faculties, as well as the capability that we have to feel, to love, to forgive, suffering, wanting. Not only that, but we also find our thoughts, the good ones and the bad ones. We find our feelings, our emotions, our dreams, our instinct, our soul, our conscience, our spirit. So it's a big universe that we do not dedicate a lot of time to get to know it. But what happened inside there impacts directly our lives outside. So if I would like to change the reality where I'm living, if I would like to change the world where I am living, I need to address the causes inside myself. As I said before, we understand that better individuals will make a better world. Yeah. So let's go back to the first topic of the survey, that was balance. Yeah, I'm not sure about you, but I have several different lives that I live along the day. Yeah, I have my life with my family. I have my life at work. I have my life with friends, doing my hobbies, doing sports, and also volunteering in the Logosophical Foundation. In each of these lives, they have each one has its time, its essence, and its quality. They are different from each other by nature, and especially time, because they are all mingled throughout the day. So this is like a lifetime with all these different lives that we have. So, and these times are interrupted, and if I do not have conscience about them, how can I manage them? How can I get them in a balance, in harmony, in order to live a happier life? Logosophy teaches that time is the hidden essence of life. It is life in its full extension. So in order to balance these times, I need to be conscious about them. I need to be conscious about these times that are being interrupted along the day in order to be conscious about my lives. And when I start to pay attention to identify these different times, and activate my conscience, observing, being attentive, I can start to connect there all the times with the same type, with the same essence. So for instance, my life with family, when I connect all the times that I have with them, I start to live this life as it was not interrupted, living a whole life in my conscience. The same thing with my work. When I stop work, let's say on Friday evening, and then I get back to there on Sunday evening, on Monday morning, and I connect this. It's like it was not interrupted. My work there was not interrupted. So I have another life. Same thing with when I meet friends, or when I'm doing sports, or when I'm doing my volunteer work at the Logosophical Foundation. So connecting all these different times in my conscience, I'm able not only to be aware of them, but also to assign value to each of these lives. Assigning the due value of each of these lives is a key factor in order to be aware of them and to manage them, because assigning the value will be able to choose which life I would like to live. Which of these lives make me happier, or make me feeling more meaningful to the people around me. So I see, that is important for my well-being to live these lives. So understanding the value of each one, I can decide which lives I would like to live. So I went through this when I moved from Brazil to US. So I would like to expand the business of my company. And I knew that this would require a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of effort. And the other lives will not, I will not be able to pay attention to them because I had a main focus there and I decided to live that life. So this also happened with my wife. So after the pandemic, we were living here. She decided to go back to work. But to do this, she had to get some certifications and licenses. So she had to study a lot to these exams. We almost starved at home, but she was able to pass the exam and everyone is fine, thankfully, but it was a conscious decision that she made. Yeah, she decided to live that life because that life was important to her. So when we start to decide which lives we want to live, we have several different possibilities. Yeah. And an image that I like a lot is an image that González Pecoch gives, that life is like a garden. And every possibility that we have to cultivate there is like a plant. So we should cultivate several possibilities in order to make life more meaningful, to have more chances of success there. And from time to time, some of these plants will give some flowers as a result of the achievement of that possibility, of that life. So one thing with this image that helps me a lot is, since each life is connected to the things that I want to get to, so I need to assign also a purpose to them. And then I connect with the second topic of the survey, the purpose. So what is the purpose of my life? What's my purpose with my family? And with that, what helped me even to balance the different lives is to assign not only the value, but purposes to each of these lives. For instance, in my life with my family, I have the goal to spend more time with them, to be more with them, to have happy moments with them. This is a goal that I need to plan myself and I need to put energy there. In my company, I have the strategic goals for the year. So I sit together with my team and then with my partners, and then we decide which goals we'd like to achieve during that year. In my athletic life, so I'm an open water swimmer, I'm a long distance bike rider. So I decide which competitions I would like to do along the year and then start to prepare myself for that. And be over 50 years old, I also need to add some KPIs like my cholesterol, sugar in my blood, the A1C, in order to guarantee that I'm healthy in order to do all these activities. Even with my friends, so I plan to be in contact with them, not only my friends here in the US, but my friends in Brazil. So as I mentioned, so I was able to connect with friends from junior high and talk to them about their great questions. So this needs cultivation, this needs a dedication in order to keep these friendships alive. And even in Logosophical Foundation, along the year, we plan what kind of studies we'd like to do, what we'd like to achieve with these studies, what type of activities we will plan in order to share this knowledge to other people. And what I learned, it was a direct connection of the combination of these goals, the combination of this purpose with happiness. The pursuit of the purpose is directly connected with the pursuit of happiness. Yeah. So when I accomplish my goal as a father, as a husband, I'm happy. When I accomplish my goal at work, I'm happy. Yeah. And what Logosophy teaches us that happiness is something that life grants us in small portions of good. Yeah. I should be conscious of all the happy moments, even the small ones that I have in all these different lives, and start to store and make a reserve inside myself, in my conscience, of these happy moments. Of course, when we live a moment of a lot of joy, very happy, it's great. But I don't need to live waiting for these big moments. I can find these small portions of happiness along my day. In this, I can surely say that this creates a very important reserve to face the challenges of life. Recently, my father passed away. And in order to face this difficult moment, what I did, I was connected with all the happy moments that I had with him. I retrieved from my conscience all these happy moments in order to support me to face this moment. And not only the happy moments, but also the gratitude that for everything that he was able to teach me, and I'm able to pass along to my children as well. So having these reserves of happiness and building this gratitude is really important to face life. But the question is, so the fact that I have all different lives along the day, okay, and I have purposes and goals for all of them, so I get here and there some flowers in my garden, these moments of happiness. Does it solve the question, what is the purpose of my life? My purpose as a human being? So I try to model this in an equation. So if the sum of my different lives times the value or the weight that each one has, so if this is my entire life, and I get to the conclusion that this equation is not an equation. It's in fact an inequation, because my life is bigger than all the different lives that I live along the day. Why? Because there is a very important life that I'm not considering the clock. That's my inner life. So this inner life, I understand that this is the most important one, because again, it will impact all the other lives. So I like to see this life, this inner life, as the central axis around which all the other lives should orbit in harmony. Yeah. And how can I see that? How can I see the importance of this inner life? Because when I decided who I want to be and how I would like to be better, I see all the cognitions, virtues, and values that I would like to acquire to be a better person. That's why here at the Logosophical Foundation, so what we do is a process of conscious evolution. I will evolve as a human being consciously, because I'll be selecting the type of knowledge and virtues that I need to acquire to complete myself. And this is very important, because this impacts all the other lives. So when I decided to be more patient, to get patience as a virtue, my family life gets better. When I decided to be more disciplined, to have more discipline in my daily activities, my athletic life and my health get better. When I'm able to be more serene and to use more reason and to reflect, not under pressure, my life at work gets better. Yeah. So all of them start to have benefits of the person I'm building inside myself. And then this helps to achieve all the purpose and all the happy moments that I'm looking for. But do you have an idea of how would be this happiness when I achieve the purpose of this inner life, of this spiritual life? What would be this purpose, this happiness, or what my spirit has to do here in this world in this planet? And with this question, I connect with the third topic of the survey that I did. So is that this spiritual nature, and how do I deal with that? And what is the metaphysical word? And if there is a cause for that, if there is an intelligence behind that, if there is a creator, a God behind that. In order to address these transcendent topics, there is a very important recommendation of Logosophy, that is to change the belief by knowledge. That studying these topics, you should not believe in anything, not even in what the Logosophy is saying, the books, what we as students are saying. So if it makes sense, if it's logic, so you should consider this. Yeah, consider as a hypothesis, but you need to experiment this in your life. For this to become a truth inside yourself, to become a knowledge, you need to experiment this in all the topics that I mentioned. And it's very hard to address these topics, transcendent topics, metaphysical topics, without addressing God, the concepts of God. So, as I said, you should not believe that. But for Logosophy, God is the supreme creator of the universal science, because all the process in creation perform their function following the dictates of his wisdom. Man's science is but a faint reflection of the latter, which is the permanent source of all his inspirations. Again, so this is what Logosophy presents about God. And what about his dictates of his wisdom? How can we see that? How can we approach our intelligence to that, to get to know this? I understand that these dictates are translated into laws, what we call universal laws. And one law that it's really helpful to me is the law of analogy. The law of analogy correlates everything that happens in the physical plane, in the metaphysical plane. So if there are laws in the physical plane, like the gravity, electromagnetism, thermodynamics, so there are also laws in the metaphysical plane. Logosophy presents some of them, like the law of evolution, law of change, law of time, law of movement. And all of them impact our lives. And so that's why I recommend to young people like STEM to study engineering, because when you study engineering, you get to know about of these physical and chemical laws, but this helps to understand the metaphysical principles. One thing that a lot of people should not know, that Sir Isaac Newton spent a lot of time studying metaphysics. And all these physical postulates that he created influenced the way that humankind see the world, were inspired by his metaphysical studies. So all his pursuit of the nature of reality, the nature of the world, the nature of God, shaped his scientific knowledge in order to inspire the studies that he made. Yeah. And then, studying about the subject in the other day, I found a very interesting graph that it is a sensibility analysis between the values of the constants of two forces, the strong nuclear force and the electromagnetic force. So the sensibility analysis varies, yeah, so the values of the constants, yeah. And in this graph, it shows that life is possible only in a very narrow range of these constants. If they were a bit higher or a bit lower, life would not be possible. The atoms would not be formed. So chemical reactions would be impossible. So did these values have these constants by chance, or can we see an intelligent pattern behind that? Because this is something that amazed me, the intelligence of the universe, the intelligence of the human beings, not not only in our mind, but the way our body works, our physiology. Yeah, the vegetables, the animals, the planets, the stars, the galaxies. So the way it works, for me, in my comprehension, there is an intelligence behind that. And how can my intelligence can connect with this universal intelligence? The other image, so probably some of you doesn't like physics, so other image that I like is the watchmaker analogy. This is an analogy from the 18th, 19th century, early 19th century, when it's proposed that if you are walking in a field and then you find a watch with a very complex gears, mechanism working very precisely. What are the odds that all these gears and mechanisms, they were put together by chance and started to work with a lot of precision? Or which are the odds that there is an intelligence behind that, an intelligent watchmaker that puts together these gears and make things to start to work? So these are some of my quietudes, so, and also my friends. So how can I get closer to this intelligence? How can I get to know this? In the end of the day, how can I get closer to God? In my understanding, again, the law of analogy helps us a lot. So what do we have inside the nucleus of all of our cells? Even the least important cells of our body. We have the DNA. The DNA is the code that explains how my body works, how my brain, how my heart, how my lung, how they work, all my physiology. And even the least important cell, let's say the cell of my little left toe, has the DNA code there. And what if, by the law of analogy, we consider ourselves as cells of this universe, of cells of this universal body, and we can also find within ourselves this universal code, this universal DNA that will help us to understand better the world, to understand better the mechanisms of the spiritual nature, of the metaphysical world, and with that knowledge, getting closer to God. This is a homework. This is a really important questions for reflection. For the sake of time, I will jump to the takeaways of this activity. I hope that you do not leave here with empty hands. So what were the main points that we addressed today? So the great questions of our lives are more common than we think. So we can talk with this with family, with friends. It's always important to hear the opinion and comprehensions about that. That there is a great imbalance between what we know of the external world and our inner world. That I need to become more conscious of my lives and assign the due value of them in order to manage them better in harmony. Remember the image of the garden, that each life is a possibility that I needed to cultivate, and it shall have its own purpose, that they can become flowers in your garden. And that happiness, these flowers, is achieved through small portions of good. Also, that my life is greater than the sum of the lives that I live during the day, that I have this internal life that I need to pay attention to that. And reflect about this universal intelligence, and if it makes sense for you, how to get closer to it. The recommendation that we get, so that the closest place to seek the answers to these great questions of life is within ourselves. And Logosophy offers a framework to go after there. So if you are, and so I will conclude here with this teaching from a book that's very dear to me, Logosophy, Science and Methods, where the author, Gonzalez Pecotti, concludes with that. Thus, as every individual seeks within himself, at the end of his search, he will find his own creator. and identifying himself with him, he will become the creator of himself and a direct collaborator of creation. So thank you very much for your time and attention. Just to remember, we at the Logosophical Foundation, our goal here is to promote this knowledge, to enable people to have tools to become better human beings. Yeah, and if you'd like to know more about that, to get to know more, so please visit our website, logosophy.org, or you can ask more questions at info@logosophy.org.uk, or follow us in the social media. As part of this public service of the Logosophical Foundation, not only lectures, but we also offer free courses. So if you are interested to have free courses to know more, so please scan the QR code here. And so we're going to get in touch with you and schedule this first meeting. So thank you very much again for your time and attention, and have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.